Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's show. I have a really cool guest on today that I personally could not wait to speak to because his career and story is so amazing. I'd
Thank
like
you.
to introduce Jermaine Greaves to the show. Hi, Jermaine.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Hello.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us today. Jermaine, just to start with, I would love you to share with our audience about your life story, how this all started. Talk about who you are as a person. Just give us a little insight on Jermaine.
Okay, so my name is Jermaine Greaves. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised in Georgetown, Guyana. Um, I came to the United States in 2001, immediately after 9/11. Outside of that, my what really started for me is my mother.
Mm,
She's the reason I'm even able to do a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now. Without her, I don't think I would be able to be so independent.
I love
uh,
that. Go mothers.
to be honest with you, I think that my mom forced me, not really forced me, but she pushed me to be able to like do certain things I'm capable of. When I was in middle school and elementary school, for example, I was like a theater kid. So a lot of performing artist stuff and being on stage and singing and acting and stuff like that. That's what she put me in at a young age at school. So that was my life for a little bit. In high school, I became a bit shy. I don't know why that happened, but it did. And then when I got to college, the theater bug hit me again.
Oh,
I realized I like to sing, but that was really my introduction to life. Like her taking me to like museums and showing me different experiences. To be honest with
I love that. Now, tell us a little. Were you born with your disability, and if so, what is it?
you. Yeah, my disability is yes, I was born with my disability. My disability is cerebral palsy,
Hmm.
also known as spastic diplegia, the medical term. So I think what I've learned with having my disability is that you have to adapt as you age, and also that being different is not really different. um, I've had to accept that okay, I may not be able to do things like other people, but I'm still Jermaine, and I've been able to embrace that over the
It's so beautiful.
years.
And I think you just said something really important that I'd like to dive into a little bit further about adapting to your age. And I personally would love your insight on this as my son Oliver, who has muscular dystrophy, is
Uh-huh.
now 15 years old. And
Yeah.
when he was younger, it almost seemed a little bit easier in that I was able to tell him that he was so special and had these special things that he could do that other people couldn't do, even though he couldn't run and he can't do sports and things like that. But he could do a lot of other amazing things. But now he's in high school and his whole relationship with his disability has changed in terms of now he feels that what is his place on this earth, and he doesn't have a lot of people in his life that have a disability. How did you adjust to different stages in your life as it relates to getting old, and how old are you now?
I am now 27.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, the good thing about me is I did have a mom I could talk to about different aspects of my disability, and even we were both figuring it out together.
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel alone, and having those supports that we all should have, like our social worker, our case manager, those kinds of people, help you through it. I think that my high school experience was great, but my middle school experience was not the best.
Mm.
For me, I really didn't want to be there. I think at a particular point. And I remember I went to my mom one day and I was like, I don't want to be in this middle school. So I ended up transferring to a different school because I just felt isolated and I was the only person in my school at the time that had a disability
Mm.
and only person for several years in my middle school class. But I just didn't like it. I didn't. It was, I would say to a kid who has a disability right now, it's okay to not know everything. It's also okay to be different without being different. So that's really something I've learned over the years. Like, it's okay that you don't know everything. It's okay that you may be confused. Even right now that I'm on my own and I'm doing all these amazing things by myself, I'm still learning myself. And
Yeah.
it's all okay. I think when it comes to disability and especially as parents, you want your kids to like know everything right now and be this perfect version of themselves. But what I've learned the last couple of months, especially, because I used to work at Macy's. I used to have a job and everything like that. And I used to be in college as well. Was like we can achieve all these things, but we don't really want to drive ourselves into the ground
Mm.
trying to set a goal or be this thing, you know. With me not really doing what I normally do, which is throw events and put stuff together, I'm realizing what else can I do?
I love that. And I think something else that you said that's so relatable
Yeah.
is that you're still discovering who you are at 27. I'm
Yeah.
still discovering who I am at almost 49. And
That's
I think that's
fine.
the evolution of life, whether you
Yeah.
have a disability or not. That's just
Yeah.
about being human,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But I thank you for that, um, what you talked about, what you do now, because I really want to focus on that in terms of it's just amazing what you have accomplished. So let's dive into your career. What are you doing now? What talk to us about all these amazing events that you're putting together and how did you start that? How did you get into this?
Okay, so when I started doing parties, it was 2009, and I went to a party and I got in touch with a promoter. And initially, I went to parties as a social person, like a consumer of the party life.
Yeah.
And initially, I realized that every time I go to these events, there's no one that looks like me. So I decided I'm going to be the person that people have never seen before.
Mm,
that,
I love that.
that's always, when you're the first to do it or it's unusual to people, um, you have to set a precedence of exactly who you are. And as I got older, because when I started, I was maybe 17 years old or 16 years old trying to do this stuff. And so you're learning the business, you're also young, you're also trying to define yourself as a young person in this field of so many other people that's trying to do what you also do. And you realize it's New York, it's competitive, everyone is
Mm,
doing, so I learned also, if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing a shirt, but I'll get into that shirt in a minute. But I started in 2009 with my first event at a warehouse with some friends, and we had over 500 people come, and that was fun. Um, in 2012, I volunteered for a major festival known as Afropunk.
mm,
I was
that's
able to
cool.
I was able to get in the door and meet some people there. The next year, I worked alongside a festival as a volunteer coordinator for 5.5 years.
Wow.
And you're putting the event together. You're learning sponsorship packages. You're learning uh, working with Nestle, Nesquik, and those major brands, and
Mm,
you're really talking to them, and you're having meetings, and you're calling vendors, and you're doing artist relations as well, and all these different things I was already doing on a smaller scale, but it's a bigger event. You're talking to the Times. You're doing interviews for the festival. You're getting your stuff on blogs and websites. It was a lot of work, but I enjoyed it.
I love it. Now, let me ask you a question. when you had these meetings or when you were learning and people saw you, here's Jermaine in a wheelchair with cerebral palsy, was there a reaction? Was there people were like, good for you? Or were they like, just, this is just Jermaine?
I think when I think of the person I was working with at the time, he was trying to gauge who I was. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I think when in terms of business and disability, I think that people see the chair first before they see you. I
Oh,
think
well said.
I think that when you open your mouth and you have something to say, they really pay attention.
I love that. Absolutely. And we had to change that, right? They should be seeing you
Yeah,
before your chair. You are a
yeah.
person before your person.
I had this conversation with somebody. I was like, you're not listening to me. You're looking at the chair because I notice things. I
Mm,
think that what people have to realize with that are disabled, we're just people, but it just happens we have assistive technology that we use to help us.
absolutely. And is
That
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 different than wearing eyeglasses or other things that are now billion-dollar industries? Like
no, it's no different.
eyewear. I mean, that's really what we want this show to be able to
Yeah,
show people is that people with disabilities are people first, just people first. And
yeah. I think that gets lost in people trying to figure out how to help you.
mm,
And how do they, how do they need to help you? I think one of the things I'm trying to develop is a disability etiquette
oh, I love that.
system
Yeah.
because I don't think people know what that even looks like. We talk about it, but I don't think they know what it looks like.
What do you think it looks like?
Disability etiquette for me would look like just your like showing people how every day for us is. I think if you give people a visual of what etiquette looks like, they will understand it better. I think if we keep talking about it, it won't change anything. I
Okay.
think the conversation of it is the same. The pamphlets, the forums, the meetings, the different conferences. I don't want to see that. I think it has to change. I think the way we're being viewed as people with disability has to change. Um, I don't even think people know what to do with someone like me. Although I've done a lot of things, there's still this glass ceiling I have to break.
Mm,
And it's real. I think everybody in a wheelchair is trying to break a glass ceiling. And I think every day that we wake up and we do something, we're constantly breaking a glass ceiling.
I love
Um,
that.
You know, another thing that I do, if you didn't notice the shirt that I'm wearing, it's a clothing brand that I have.
I
It's
love it.
called Not Like the Other Kids.
Mm-hmm.
So the start of that clothing brand came from at the time I didn't have a wheelchair and my insurance company took forever to respond back to me. So I got a group of friends together and I got a videographer together and I said, let's make a campaign. It was 2 minutes long. It went viral. Kaylani saw it. A couple of my industry friends saw it, and we raised $2,000 for a chair.
Love it.
So, so um, you know, I just was, I felt like I know a bunch of people. Let's make something happen. So I've been able to do that. I did a campaign for a young girl. She had leukemia
Mm,
and she was in the hospital. Her name was Mia Isabella. I met her parents. We raised like $1,000 for her for medical costs and care. I did a campaign for Puerto Rico as well. We raised like another $600 for Puerto Rico. And that's the kind of stuff I do.
and is it selling these shirts? Is that how you're raising the money?
Yeah, some of it is. Some of it is. I do events for the brand as well. It's a lot of different things. Like one of the campaigns I'm doing right now because COVID-19 is happening, and COVID-19 is actually close to home because My sister recently passed from the virus
Oh, I'm so sorry.
not too long ago, but what I've been doing is, with all these cases, and my Facebook feed has become something of a COVID-19 diary. I have been using promoting what happened to my sister and all the stories on the news and things I'm seeing on social media to really just promote the brand and get people to support this thing. That's the new thing I'm working on now. But I think that this whole pandemic for me has made me realize so many things. And I think that we have to just appreciate what we have, the ability to go outside, the ability to like enjoy the simple things. Before this,
Absolutely. And
I
how
got,
little we need, right? How little we need.
before this pandemic, I just was very busy. I think like after this, I'll connect more, I'll be more human, I'll be more understanding. And it's different. I don't think people realize this pandemic isn't just about a pandemic. It's really about finding yourself in this
And taking that to the next chapter of your life. Let's just not, when this is over and hopefully soon, let's
time.
take what we've learned and what we have appreciated. I am absolutely in your camp. I mean, this is the most amount of time I've ever spent at home, or we are having family dinners, and it's because we're moving in a million different directions, and I'm racing back and forth to the city, and now I'm just with my family and able to have conversations
Yeah,
with people like you, which is such an unbelievable gift that I need to hold on to when the world opens back up again.
yeah.
And with that, well, first of all, let's honor your sister. What was her name?
Her name was Georgie Ann.
Let's
Georgie Ann.
honor her, and I'm so sorry for your loss and
Yeah.
for your family. But one thing that I like to ask all of my guests, which I think you're going to have an amazing response to, is
Okay.
I'm a very big believer in the vision board and putting out there and manifesting what you want to happen in your lifetime. For me, I have people that I want to meet or have an interview with, like Oprah and Ellen, to be able to expose this amazing population of people with disabilities to the mainstream world and really change the vernacular and how people see people with disabilities.
Yes.
What is on your vision board? What is in the future for Jermaine that you are going to accomplish?
My vision board is very simple. Whether it's acting, singing, or just event planning, I really want to make it, or even public speaking.
Mm,
My ultimate purpose would be to just be myself in everything that I do. And I hope that people understand that and feel that. I want it to be something that's true to me, but I also want to be somebody who, when I speak, they listen. And I do feel like I have that ability.
you
So,
definitely do.
so I think that that's really my vision board, and just to show people that although I'm disabled, although it may seem like I have a limitation, I really just have a superpower that is special to me.
I love that. How beautiful. And before we go, how do people best connect with you?
You could find me on social media by my full name, Jermaine, JermaineGreaves. I have a website with my full name also, so www.jermainegreaves.com, and then my clothing brand is www.notliketheotherkids.
Love it. Great.
Yeah, that's ways to find me.
Perfect. And before we go, not to put you on the spot, but maybe you could sing us out. Do a
Sing
couple
you
bars.
out. Oh my God.
Yes.
Really?
Let's
Okay.
do something uplifting and something
All
that's
right.
going to make everybody feel good.
All right, let me do oh my god, I'm gonna do this song. All right, I'll do something. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am free again. When I will always say, I will always love you. I will always love you.
Yeah, that was so beautiful. I will always love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jermaine. It was so wonderful to talk to you, and thank you for joining us today. Please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com and tell us a little bit about why you would be a great guest on our show.